Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Congregation Adas Emuno, whether you are veteran members, whether you are newcomers, we love to have guests, and a special welcome, of course, to everyone viewing from home. I feel like this is a little bit the calm before the storm, because all you hear about is the coming storm, but Shabbat itself is supposed to be an oasis in time, a calm from the stormy week that may have been, and the stormy week, literally or figuratively, that may be. Our student Cantor is in London right now on a seminar. I've been told they've been having non-stop stormy weather and that hundreds of people have had to be evacuated from their homes in London. So I hope that Joe is okay. But we're delighted to have our youth group advisor and song leader, Adam Kohane, with us this week as well. It's always great to be able to conduct the service with Adam. And we're going to begin and end the service with new melodies. Adam asked me earlier today, is that okay? I said, we're open to new melodies. It's always good to learn. So the opening song is a very familiar song, word-wise, Hine Matov. We probably have 3 or 4 melodies that we sing it to already, and let's begin with this new melody.
Hine Matov u'manayim שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומה נעים. שבת אחים גם יחד. Behold how good it is that we can be happily together. Whoa, whoa, hine matov u'manayim שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה matov u'manayim שבת אחים גם יחד. Behold how good it is that we can be happily together. Whoa, whoa, hine matov u'manayim שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה matov שבת אחים גם יחד.
I like it. I think we'll work on it, and very nice in Hebrew and English. I saw 2 people who were singing along, so you must do that at camp, is that right? Very cool, very nice. And opening reading responsively on page 6 at the bottom. May the door of this synagogue be wide enough to receive all who hunger for love, all who are lonely for friendship. May the door of this synagogue be narrow enough to shut out pettiness and pride, envy and enmity. May it be too high to admit complacency, selfishness, and harshness. I mentioned last week that there are 3 classic hymns that welcome the Shabbat from the 16th century, 17th century in Tzfat, Israel. And the one we sing most often is L'cha Dodi, Last week, we sang Yedid Nefesh, and Shalom Aleichem, also very well known, is the third of that trilogy of Kabbalat Shabbat welcomes. We can find that on page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharim, Malachei Elyon, Miri Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem Leshalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu Ani L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Vihi Melech Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sechem L'Shalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Vihi Melech Malachei Hamlachim Kadosh Baruch Hu.
Shalom Aleichem that we sang in each refrain talks about the Malachei HaSharet, translated here as the messengers or the ministering angels. Rabbi Lawrence Kushner, a modern-day mystic, has an interesting comment about Melachim, the Hebrew word which can mean angels or messengers, depending on the context. He writes at the bottom of page 25, and so we understand that ordinary people are messengers of the Most High. They go about their tasks in holy anonymity, often even unknown to themselves. Yet, if they had not been there, if they had not said what they said, or did what they did, it would not be the way it is now. We would not be the way we are now. Never forget that you, too, yourself, may be a messenger, perhaps even one whose errand extends over several lifetimes. For our call to worship, the Baruch Hu, page 28, please rise.
Yai la 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 yai la 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 yai la 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 yai la 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 yai la 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 yai la 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 yai la 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 yai la 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 yai la 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 yai la 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 yai la 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Vaed HaMevorach HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
Please be seated. On page 31, praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. From the world around us of light and dark to the world within us, Ahabat Olam, unending love, page 32.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta. Torah u'mitzvot, Hukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadeta, Otanu lemadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu b'shochtenu, U'kumenu nasiach bechukecha, V'nizman b'divrei Toratecha, U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki chem chayenu, Ve'orech yameinu, Uvahem nege yomam v'layla, Nege yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatcha al tasir, Mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael.
Let's join together in the Shema and the V'ahavta.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'kol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alevanecha Vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam
Beshivtecha
Abeitecha u'lektecha v'derech u'shokbecha u'vkumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, תהייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני
אדוני אלוהיכם,
אשר הוצאתיכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם אלוהים.
אני אדוני
אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. In the annual cycle of the reading of the Torah, we begin the book of Exodus this week, the second book of the Torah, the epic story of our move from slavery to freedom. There's a reminder of the Exodus in every prayer service with the next prayer, the Michamocha prayer. Before singing Michamocha, about the experience of the Exodus, on the top of page 39, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. The song that we sang when we joined hands and marched through the sea is the Michamocha on page 40. Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, Michamocha neder v'kodem, Nora tehilot osei feleh, Nora tehilot osei feleh.
מלכותך רבו בניך, חוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ויאמרו,
אלינו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם. ונאמר כי פרנאי את יעקב וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל Yisrael. On page 42, grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom
ve'hamidenu
shomreinu lechaim.
Ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu lechaim ushalom me'ata ve'ad olam.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu Shalom ve'hamidenu shomreinu lechaim. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Page 44, the people of Israel shall keep Shabbat, observing Shabbat throughout the ages as a covenant for all time. V'shamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו
בני ישראל את השבת,
לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Here's another thought-provoking statement about the Exodus by the late, great Abraham Joshua Heschel on page 45. We are a people in whom the past endures, in whom the present is inconceivable without moments gone by. The Exodus lasted a moment enduring forever. What happened once upon a time happens all the time. For the Tefillah Amidah prayer, page 46, please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor Ha'anurah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Hasei Avot V'imahot, Umevi Giula Lifnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים והופך עולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך מדיני ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לך חיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללו הסלע. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
Please be seated. On page 53, days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Let's read together on page 59. God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty, for the richness of the earth which day by day sustains us. For all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulecha na'eh lehodot. And this section of prayer concludes with the Prayer of Great Peace, Shalom Rav, on page 60.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam.
Leolam Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam.
Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon, lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'necha levarech et Amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Now, at the end of the Amidah, our thoughts turn to those of our loved ones in need of healing, be this the healing of body or healing of soul. And every Shabbat since October 7th, I've been including 2 sets of names. The first set are IDF soldiers who are directly related to or friends of members of this congregation. We think yet again this week of Jesse, Zachariah, Itai, Ophir, Sharon, Ben, Justin, Sapir, and Eliashav. We also continue to pray every week, every day, every hour for the well-being of the hostages. And we'll be coming to the end next week of the original list of over 240 names that I've been reading each week. And although some of the names of these hostages, some of these people have been released or we know have been confirmed dead, their families also remain in such need of healing, if not themselves. This week we think and name Vladimir Zutov, Hanan Yoblanka, Judith Weiss, Liam Or, Liat Benin, Michelle Nisbaum, Maxime Herkin, Noah Marciano, Nili Margalit, Nir Forte, Noam Or, Aiden Zacharia, Idan Shetivi, Alma Or, Amit Susana, Roni Petrovsky, and Roni Krivo. For all those close to our hearts, we join in singing the Misha Berach prayer of healing.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Before our moment of silent prayer this evening, this reflection, you might have seen a news item last week about 2 fishermen. This was along a river in the Midwest. I can't remember exactly where. They were out scouting a fishing location. And then one of them saw a glint of sunlight as if reflecting off a piece of metal. It just looked out of place. And so he said to his buddy, let's check it out. I don't know what this is, but it's different. I'm just curious, let's check it out. You know what it was? A man had crashed his pickup truck off the bridge and somehow was still alive 6 days later. they were able, with difficulty, to rescue the man in critical condition. But it was because of that kind of curiosity and saying, I'm going to step aside to see what this is, that they saved this man's life. And you know, in this opening chapters of Exodus, Moses is walking along with his sheep, doing his shepherd thing. And then he sees off to the distance, he sees this bush that appears to be on fire, but is not being consumed. And instead of just keep on walking with his sheep, the Torah says he turns aside to see what this is. And that made all the difference, because that's when he hears God's voice or hears his conscience, however you want to interpret it, and it changes the course of his life. So as we pause now for a moment, let's think about being open to, curious about new experiences, new phenomena that may change us and change others. We pause.
Say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, Kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Oh, say shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael
I must read 10 articles a day about Israel. I've always been obsessive about it, you might say, but ever since October 7th, I can't stop. And there's one that caught my eye last week that connected to one aspect of what we see happening, that it hit home in terms of something that I've been feeling, that I've been concerned about, that we really haven't been talking about, and I'm going to talk about it. And it has to do with young Jews and Israel and their relationship to Israel. I'm talking about young Jews in the United States, in the diaspora. wherever they may be. And the article mentioned that a survey conducted in November, so this is after October 7th, a few weeks after the start of the war, for the Nonpartisan Jewish Electorate Institute, found a striking generational gap in American Jews' attitude toward support for Israel, and particularly the Biden administration's support for Israel. Now, I've been feeling this, and now it was quantified. 82% of those 36 or older supported the president. In this survey of the American Jewish community, only 53% of those aged 18 to 35 felt that way. That's a yawning gap. That is a significant disparity. And one of the commentators who conducted this survey said that younger Jews have little or no memory of an underdog Israel surrounded by enemy states or terrorized by suicide bombings. That's so true. I mean, I'm now a senior, but I'm not old enough to remember the founding of the State of Israel. Some people here are, but not. And I'm not old enough to remember the Holocaust in a personal way. But I am old enough to have personally remembered the Six-Day War, Entebbe, the Yom Kippur War, Munich. And then I'm thinking about the young people that I teach right in this synagogue in confirmation class. And all those events that I just mentioned are ancient history. None of them have occurred during the lifetime of the young people. This article chronicled or took as case studies 4 different young Jewish Americans. The first one is named Jackson Schwartz, no relation that I'm aware of. He's a senior at Columbia University. And, somebody said. He said that they're taught to listen with open minds. And his parents said that they actually learned from their son, who studied with a prominent Palestinian intellectual, head of Arab studies at Columbia, named Rashid Khalidi. Dan Schwartz, the father, said his son helped him to understand the Palestinian perspective on Israel's founding, which was accompanied by a large displacement of population that the Palestinians call the Nakba, using the Arabic word for catastrophe. It wasn't until Jackson went to Columbia and took classes that I even heard that word, he said. Still, he said he felt his son's education downplayed the fact that Israel is and has been surrounded by terrorists who want to destroy them. And that's the first of these 4 examples of a disconnect these parents are feeling with their own children about support for Israel. The next individual, Jonathan Taubes, grew up in a right-wing, modern Orthodox community in New Jersey, maybe Teaneck, for all I know. He said he understands that his own perception of Israel is starkly different than those of his parents, who remember the Arab-Israeli War of 1967 and the Yom Kippur War of 73. His mother is the daughter of Holocaust survivors, and recently she went to visit her son in Brooklyn and began discussing her fears of anti-Jewish hatred as soon as she walked into the apartment. So Jonathan Taubes, who's 30, felt torn between wanting to comfort his mother and feeling uneasy with her exclusive focus, as he put it, on Jewish pain. I was, quote, trying to hold both sides, a progressive left one and a defensive Jewish one, explained. It's a feeling of discomfort. How do I manage this? How do I bridge this? So that's a young person speaking about this gap. The third person is Mika Maltzman. She's a junior at Brown University. She grew up ensconced in her Reform synagogue in Washington, D.C., surrounded by Jews who were pro-Israel and politically liberal. Quote, "My parents were supportive of Israel, but not the government," she said. "In Hebrew school, it was, this is the Jewish state that we need as a homeland." But when she graduated from high school and went to college, she became much more left-wing, and she has joined recently a group called Brown University Jews for a Ceasefire, which held a sit-in at the university building, one university building in November. Her parents were very critical of her for doing this. And she replied, for the purpose of this article, "I'm really terrified and horrified by what Israel is doing. Fighting with my parents who will defend various aspects of Zionist ideology, it's been a constant back and forth." And the last case study was Louisa Kornblatt, a young Jew who grew up in Madison, Wisconsin. She spent her summers at Jewish sleepaway camp and shared her parents' belief that the safety of the Jewish people depends on a Jewish state. But when she started graduate school in Berkeley in 2017, that started to change. She said that she's lost friends of hers just by even mentioning Israel, and she's afraid to voice Palestinian sentiments on the other hand. She's afraid that Israel might be on the wrong side of history, and her mother, Judith Kornblatt, says that what she fears is anti-Semitism that she experienced from her childhood coming back in stronger than ever. Her father, Mark Kornblatt, said that he grew up in suburban New Jersey and said he remembers anti-Semitism in his youth. He says, "Judith and I talk about this with our daughter. Did we not talk about anti-Semitism in the Holocaust enough with our children?" That's the question. The article concludes, in interviews with dozens of young people, many of them described feelings estranged from the version of Jewish identity that they were raised with, which was often anchored in a pro-Israel education. Many young Jews said they believed in Israel's right to exist and condemned the Hamas attacks, but they believed at least as passionately in Palestinian rights and condemned Israel's bombardment of Gaza, its settlements, and the treatment of Palestinians broadly. So what are we going to do about this generational divide? What are we going to do about a generation of young Jews who don't feel passionately about the state of Israel? Because one thing that the article really didn't talk about was not so much identification in a humanitarian way with the Palestinians, but what if it's just apathy and feeling a lack of deep connection? Are we talking to our children enough about the situation? Are we expressing our connections, our passions deeply enough, even if it's difficult? We've had this discussion about politics in general in the United States, but now we're specifically talking about Israel. The stakes are high. Perhaps we've fallen short in trying to inculcate the message of one Jewish people, of Klal Yisrael, the community of Israel, of Kol Yisrael Aravin Ze Bazeh. Every member of the Jewish people is responsible for Jewish people and feels it. We can't create the history that we grew up with. But there's one other thing we can do, and that is make sure that our young people visit Israel. That changes things in a big way. I teach confirmation class every year here at the synagogue. And when we talk about Israel, those who have been to Israel, often summer Jewish camp and then that experience, but even later as birthright students, age 18 to 26, which still exists as a great program, because just a visit to Israel, even a short 10-day visit, or a full summer, or a full semester, or an entire year, most of our young people come back changed, and they then better understand why us older folk feel so passionately about this subject. Talking about it and doing everything we can to have our young people experience Israel, I think will point us in the right direction. This is a divide, this is a gap that shouldn't be. We have enough to worry about with Israel's detractors everywhere. We need to feel that sense of unity in the Jewish people. Shabbat Shalom. Speaking of Israel, Hannah Jacobowitz, who has been on a long time program, is returning to her program on Sunday. We're delighted and wish her well. And her twin brother is returning to his university also on Sunday. So I'm going to ask Hannah and Aaron to open the Ark, the honor of opening the Ark now, for the Aleinu prayer. The bottom of page 282. And as we open the Ark, please rise. It's a little sticky, so you have to use some strength. Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, l'ten gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'arasot, velo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'goraleinu k'kol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו מגובה מרומים הוא אלוהינו אינו אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו ככתוב בתורתו וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל והארץ מתחתינו ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יראה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד As we remain standing, our thoughts turn to those of our loved ones no longer with us. On this Shabbat, we call to mind in love and reverence the Yortzeit, the anniversary of the passing of Jean Levine, mother of Paula Goldstein, Ronnie Avidan, sister of Scott Avidan, Adam Pecht, father of Michael Pecht, Anna Pecht, mother of Michael Pecht. For all those close to our hearts, for all those for whom there may be no one to say Kaddish, we join in the Kaddish prayer on page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba, be'alma tivrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'hayechon uvyom echon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uzman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach leolam olamei almai. Yitbarak v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitalei v'yitalal shemei d'kudisha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nekmata da'amiran b'alma v'imru amen. Hey shlama rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom bimromav hu ya'asei shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved. Amen. Please be seated. The president of our congregation this week is away, Michael Fishbein. I'll just offer a few announcements. Torah study resumes tomorrow morning for our second semester at 10 o'clock, 10 to approximately 11:15, with part 2 of our study of Open Judaism. We'll be talking about, for a week or two at least, the soul, Jewish views of the soul. What is it? Is there life after death? What happens to the soul? Very philosophical and theological and very interesting. Religious school resumes on Sunday. It is taking place in person unless the weather really becomes severe, in which case parents will receive an email or communication late on Saturday night or early on Sunday morning. Hopefully it's trending so that we can begin the second semester of religious school in person on Sunday. Monday evening via Zoom is our bi-monthly book club. We're looking at the autobiography of the entertainer, Mel Brooks. There's also a brand new book about Mel Brooks. And if you'd like to join in that, just let us know. We'll send you the Zoom link on Monday. 2 members of our congregation recently returned from Morocco, and we asked them to speak about their trip and Jewish Morocco in particular. That's going to be coming up in a few weeks. Just FYI, save the date. It'll be a Sunday brunch on February 4th. That's about it for now, except for social action announcement.
It's a book club.
Oh.
Poetry.
Poetry.
Poetry garden. What is it? Do you know? Well, okay, on the paper calendar, it says it's this Sunday.
This Sunday.
Michael Fishbein announced it was in person. That was kind of news to everyone.
It's by Zoom.
And, but Lance put it on the e-calendar for next week after this.
So this Sunday evening via Zoom, our monthly poetry garden. Yes. Look on the website for updated information. Thank you to the Avidan family for the Oneg Shabbat, for sponsoring the Oneg Shabbat after the service this evening. And I mentioned that we were beginning and concluding the service with a new song. Now, this new song, one more announcement.
Please, yes, we've started our Super Bowl collection. Anything that has to do with soup that's not non-perishable and doesn't have the expired date on it. We usually collect over 200 cans and cellophane containers or whatever. So please leave it on the porch for the school. And the day of the other Super Bowl is when we have the students talk about hunger, and then they count out the amount of soup that we cook.
I'll just repeat that for the sake of everybody at home. From now until the Super Bowl, feel free to drop off a can of soup or cans of soup on the porch in the synagogue. One of our big collections every year is for the Super Bowl, Souper. And it's true. What Annette said, we have collected upwards of 200 cans of soup with the participation of people of all ages in the congregation. So thank you for that. As I was saying, the final song is not in your book, but Adam said, there's a song I'd really like to bring to the congregation and sing. And did you want to say just a word about it?
Sure. So this song is called Ashir Ladonai, which I learned years ago and kind of lost touch with it, but recently, actually over the high holidays, it kind of came back at my home synagogue in Teaneck, and it roughly translates to, I trusted in your kindness, and my heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing to God because he has been kind to me.
Thank you for bringing Adam, and it's just a pleasure to lead the Shabbat service with you.
ואני בחסדך בטחתי, יגל ליבי בישועתך. 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 אשיר לאדוני, אשיר לאדוני, אשיר לאדוני, כי גמל עלי. אשיר לאדוני, אשיר לאדוני, אשיר לאדוני, כי גמל עלי. ואני בחסדך בטחתי, יגל ליבי בישועתך. ואני בחסדך בטחתי, יגל ליבי בישועתך. אשיר לאדוני, אשיר לאדוני, אשיר לאדוני, כי גמל עלי. אשיר לאדוני, אשיר לאדוני, אשיר לאדוני, כי גמל עלי.
Shabbat Shalom.